This segment of Naperville Sports Weekly is brought to you in part by the Daily Herald.
Well, Jennifer, we're here. You guys about halfway point through the season. You said you've kind of been tinkering with some lineups, trying to figure out what would work, what wouldn't. How big are those tournament weekends where you guys get a lot of games in against pretty good competition, where you're able to kind of figure out what you have?
I really like our tournament schedule. We have one tournament, the Plainfield North Invite, that's before conference play, which is really nice to get 5 matches under our belt. And then the Wheaton Classic is always a really tough competition. I think those top 8 teams are teams that you'll see in a lot of regional finals and possibly sectional finals. So it was good to see a lot of competition at the beginning of the year.
What have you learned about your team in those tournaments? I know you said you think after you guys have been through just about the first round of DVC play, and you feel like you know what you're going to put out there for that second round.
Yeah, I feel really confident with the lineups that we've been playing. We've definitely tried a few different things at the beginning of the season because we have a lot of hitters that can hit in a lot of different spots. So we were just trying to kind of fit the pieces together and see what we could potentially bring on the court. And I think the girls have done a good job adapting and being versatile enough to play multiple positions.
How do styles kind of change when you put different players on the court?
Well, we have a lot of girls that have experience playing middle, which is pretty rare. Most teams are searching for middles. So we're working really hard to quicken up our offense and put up a solid block every time for our defensive players to work around.
A tough 3-set match for you guys against Naperville Central late last week. After the game, I saw in the paper you said, Central's experience was really something that helped them. You guys have a very young roster this year. 2 to 3 seniors in the rotation. How much have you kind of seen these girls grow over the stint we've been through the season so far?
Mm-hmm. We have 8 returners from last year's team, but about half of those girls saw playing time. So it's been a bit of adjustment. We have almost a new player in every position on the court. So it's definitely been good for the girls to get some experience playing some good competition. But we do have 2 sophomores on the court all the time too, and a handful of juniors. So they're getting some great valuable experience playing this early.
You mentioned one of those sophomores, Emily Kwok. Well, your setter last year really kind of came out of nowhere. As a setter and on the serving line, she seemed to really be a weapon for you guys. What does she kind of bring to the table, and how important is that to, as a sophomore, she's already a returning varsity starter? Right.
Emily has seen a lot of varsity matches already, which is pretty rare for a freshman setter to be on varsity. And she is steady, she's consistent, and she works extremely hard in practices and in matches. So she's been a constant force for us, someone that we can always rely on to make good plays and come up with some big plays. So definitely looking forward to seeing her progress over the next 2 years.
When we were talking earlier, you mentioned that she's someone that you kind of forget she's a sophomore sometime. I imagine that's a compliment from a coach.
Right, absolutely. She's somebody that has great composure on the court, and doesn't show a lot of emotion on her face all the time. So it's reassuring for passers to look to her and hitters to look to her when they could be struggling on the court as well.
One of your senior standouts is Corinne Gajic, committed to play to Iowa. She's a very good offensive player. What does she kind of bring, on the court for you guys?
Corinne plays 6 rotations for us, and this is her 3rd year on varsity. So she has a ton of experience. She's one of our captains. She's able to score points from us from the back row and the front row. And she's one of our top kids in all stat categories. So she's someone that we're just really looking for a lot of consistency and leadership.
And I would imagine she's, with a roster that we've talked about the inexperience, she's got to be someone that as a coach you got to be happy that you have, maybe not on match days, but maybe on practice days and, some of those other, when you're building a team and trying to bring some of these other players along.
Yeah, she's someone that has stepped in right away and helps out the sophomores and the juniors on the team, part of those captain leadership roles. And she just sets an example every day and models hard work and dedication that rubs off on all the girls around her.
What does it kind of say about her as a player? She's somebody that in college is expected to, kind of play on the defensive side, libero, and, she plays a lot of offense for you guys.
Yeah, it's not unusual for players that are about her size to play front row in high school. She's going to play in the Big Ten, so the hitters she's going to see are much bigger than they are in high school. So she'll be able to contribute in the back row, and she gets to do the best of both worlds on our team. So she's having a good time.
You mentioned the Big Ten and Naperville North alum, Colleen Ward, made some noise the last couple years at Illinois, Florida before that. And you've had some college players, come out of this program the last couple of years, a couple freshmen going in this year, Ashley Crawford at Emory, Christine Wu at Yale. What's it like kind of being able to coach a lot of these players that go on to, play at the level they play at? And I imagine it's got to be pretty fun to see them when they get there too.
Oh yeah, it's great to just see this area in general in volleyball. There's so many competitive high schools with girls, typically 2, 3, 4 players going on to play in college. So it's great competition on the other side of the net, and it's great to follow these girls through college.
What's it kind of like coaching in that? I imagine at times, when we come to some of these matches, it's like a pressure cooker out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a competition every day we play. We've got a tough conference. We play some tough non-conference tournaments. So we see the best players in the state throughout our schedule.
This program really had a string of success in the regionals, the last 10, 15 years. You guys barely miss out the last couple of years. What does Naperville North kind of need to do with the schedule that you guys have left to kind of get back up there?
Mm-hmm. Right now we're just working hard to get better every day in practice, and each match is an opportunity to prepare us for the postseason. So winning a regional is definitely one of our goals, and it's something that we talk about on a consistent basis.
Getting ready for second round of DVC, what kind of things do you want your team to kind of look at to improve on as you get ready for that?
We're just trying to clean up our side of the net, continue with good ball control, and quicken up our offense. The better ball control we have, the more production we can have from our offense.
Well, Jen, we appreciate you having us out about at the halfway point. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.